A couple of black people have reached out to me to express things like, Ricardo, I do believe you that the Latino, the Mexican, the Hispanic community, they do suffer from these things that you talk about. But I personally have a lot of Latino, Hispanic, Mexican friends, and they party with me, they love me, etc. But here's the thing. The things that I talk about or that I try to shed light on have nothing to do with the fact that you may have Mexican, Hispanic, Latino friends, a girlfriend, a wife, a baby mama, whatever. Nothing to do with that. It has to do with a lot of things that are normalized in Latin American countries. There's a lot of white supremacist ideologies, views, beliefs that have been normalized in Latin American countries. Ideologies that have resulted in most of us suffering from internalized racism, colorism, etc. Those are the things that I tend to shed light on because a lot of my people are not aware of these things, and the reason why they're not aware of it is because they have been normalized. However, here's the thing about your Mexican, Latino, Hispanic friends. It's not what they say when they're around you. It's what they say and how they feel about you when you're not around.
Yeah, he hit the hammer on the nail right there. It is about what people say when you're not around. Who's going to stick up for you when it's not cool? Who's going to stick up for you when you're not around? That's from all communities, but...
For example, I believe I was around 19, 18 years old, and I went to a party. And this party had nothing but Mexicans, white people, and a couple of Filipinos. And you want to know something? Everything was amazing. We were all getting along. And guess what happened next? I guess a black person was invited. And this black individual brought her friends over. As soon as they all walked in, everybody started getting uncomfortable. And one person in particular became very uncomfortable. To the point where she went to go sit on the sofa away from everybody else and just remained there until the party was over and all the black people left. And all that remained were a couple of white and Mexican people there. See, she was comfortable with the white people. She was comfortable with everybody else. But as soon as black people arrived, there was a problem. And if you're going to say, oh, Ricardo, that's one of the racist ones. Well, you want to know what's crazy? Her boyfriend was black.
Ricardo, you say it was white people, Hispanics, and a couple Filipinos. This girl went and sat on the couch when the black girls came in there, or the black girl, and she brought her entourage. She was probably uncomfortable because they came, but it might not have just been because she was black. It might have been because they know her boyfriend. She might have been there on demon time with the Filipinos and the Latinos and the white people and felt like she was safe because her black boyfriend really didn't communicate with these people. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be what you saying. I'm just being honest, man. Maybe the black people that came in, probably was around, knew her boyfriend, and she was in there on some bull. She was in there on demon time. Let's be real.
And you want to know how she behaved around her black boyfriend? Great. You want to know all the negative things that she had to say about black people when she was around her black boyfriend? None. You would assume that she's down for the cause. Dating a brother. Does. You think so? Unfortunately, we live in a society where we think because a person of another race dates us, marries us, has children with us, that in itself is the evidence that that individual and their family are not racist towards us. The amount of black people that I've met.
Yeah, he's right about that, though. Just because you date someone, marry someone, have kids by someone doesn't mean that them or the people around them don't have some underlying prejudices or things that are going on. It's cool when it's all fun and games, but once it gets serious with a child or it gets serious with a marriage or something like that, you go see who comes out the woodworks. Might not be your partner, it might be one of their family members, but you'll definitely see.
That expressed to me things like, Ricardo, I ended up marrying a Mexican woman, a Latina woman, and it wasn't until we had kids that I realized how racist her family were towards black people, even to the point where our child that came out looking black is not even welcome. It's not wanted over there on that side of the family.
Facts. That definitely goes on, Chad. Facts. Not every family's like that, but there are sections of the family that won't accept the child, that won't accept it. Have little racist things to say, or it's just crazy. It is crazy. That definitely goes on.
And unfortunately, a lot of people don't get to realize this grim truth and reality until they end up having children with that Latina, that Mexican, that Hispanic. I've said this before in many videos, but I'll say it again. And I'll probably keep saying it over and over again. In Latin American countries, we have something called mejorar la raza. That means improve the race. And if you do not study what this means and how much it affects our psyche, the way we view things, you will never understand why people from Latin American countries suffer from this and to what degree. There's a reason why it's normalized for Hispanics, Latinos, Mexicans to be perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, encourage our sons and daughters to go find themselves a white person to marry and have children with. Meanwhile, it's very normalized for us to discourage our sons and daughters to avoid at all costs to get with the black person to marry and have children with. That in itself is part of mejorando la raza. And you have to understand.
I never knew it was a term for it. Lijanda La Rosa. I never knew it was a term for it, but I definitely seen that go on. You know what I'm saying? Just being observant throughout life, just, living my experiences. Yeah, I definitely can believe that. I definitely can believe that.
And what this means and how much it affects us. And I'll share this one last piece with you. I had this one black guest come up on my platform, on my live streams, and he shared a story with me, an experience rather. And he said, Ricardo, me as a black man, I had a child with a Salvadorian woman. And meanwhile, I was dating her, everything was fine. But as soon as she got pregnant and she brought me over to meet her mother just disliked me from the get-go. And then our son was born, and none of her family want us around. They don't want to meet my son, etc. And then he asked me, Ricardo, you as a Hispanic, what am I doing wrong? Why don't they like me? What would you recommend that I do? Or what can I do so they could like me? And I said, don't be black. They are pissed off because their daughter downgraded by having a child with a black person. And now a new member of their family is black with bad hair. And if you're looking at me and thinking, Ricardo, what are you talking about? That is part of mejorando la raza. And I need you to understand what this means and how deep it affects us. So you could understand why Latinos believe that upgrading is to get with white people and have children with white people, and avoid at all costs to get with black people and to avoid having children with black people. Mejorando la raza is a very real thing. And unfortunately, a lot of people in Latino countries will deny that this is a real thing. And unfortunately, the reason why it's not solved is because when people like myself try to expose and address it, the rest of the Latin community, they get angry. Ricardo, why are you making us look bad? Making us look bad? And that's the problem. Why are you making us look bad? And I'm thinking, making us look bad? You are more concerned about our image than actually solving these issues that ruin us. An example, I had a Dominican guy come up on my platform one time. He said to me, Ricardo, you've made a couple of videos that I've gone through.
Yeah, I think people don't realize the Latino community spans wide. You got Dominicans, Salvadorians, Guatemalans, Mexicans. Like, it's a lot, with the black community, they try to put, the Jamaicans, the Haitians and all of that, but I feel like to them, we might all be the same, but even with the Dominicans, it's like, I don't know, Chad. I want to have a conversation with this guy. I'm gonna have to hit him up. I'm gonna have to hit him up. Y'all tag him down below. Y'all tag him down below in the comments. I want to have a conversation with this guy. Seems like a pretty straight shooter, straightforward shooter, man.
Viral about Dominicans, about how we don't like being black, etc. And you want to know something? You're not wrong. But you want to know what I'm experiencing myself as a Dominican living in the Bronx? I have a barber shop, and I've been losing a lot of clients that are black American because it's trending right now that Dominicans hate being black, don't want to associate with black, etc. And I feel, Ricardo, like you're one of those people that are making us look bad. The concern here was not the anti-blackness. Nah, the concern here is I'm losing customers at my barber shop. And that is why we can't solve these issues, because you're making us look bad. Oh, I'm losing clients. Because you're exposing what we're suffering from. And that in itself is a great example as to why we as Latinos, we can't solve these issues. Because our problem is not the anti-blackness, the anti-indigeneity in our practices. That's not the problem. The problem is you're making us look bad, Ricardo.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Israel claim that.
That's crazy, chat. That's crazy, man. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions down below. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions down below.